Hello, I hope everybody's doing good today. So, initially, I planned on doing a grounding exercise to help people who have experienced attachment deficiencies. But instead of talking about attachment deficiencies and grounding exercises, I want to talk about why people are so angry today. I had an experience on Saturday. I was driving, minding my own business, and this group of people were on the side of the street. And I was on Riverside Avenue. It's a pretty busy street in Westchester County. And all of a sudden, I see everybody in the group waiting to cross the street, except this white woman. She comes out, she's walking, has her head down, almost seemed like she had an attitude, and just walked out in front of my car. So as she's crossing the street in front of me, of course I waited because I'm a nice person. I didn't speed up on her. I say, "What are you, stupid?" And as I said that, she looked me dead in my eye. I believe that she saw what I said. She could read my mouth. And she proceeded to turn around, wave her finger, and I don't know what she said, but what stood out to me most was the look on her face. She was so angry. And I'm thinking to myself, well, what are you angry for? You walked out in front of me. When I had the right of way, there wasn't a crosswalk for you to just be able to walk out in front of a car. So that situation affected me so much that I figured I was going to talk about that today, because we need to talk about it today, because people are so angry, and I want to know why. Why does it seem like everyone is so filled with rage? Now, we went through a big thing with COVID-19. We still haven't recovered from it. COVID is still around. I don't know about you, but I still can't live my life like I want to live my life, even though I'm fully vaccinated. But as we talk about anger, we have to realize that anger is a normal reaction to stress. It's a sign of our distress and an example of our suffering. We have all experienced social isolation due to COVID, a loss of routine, increased fear and prolonged uncertainty, grief and loss, while grieving the way things used to be. So I don't know if the woman crossing the street was angry because she saw my black face. Like, is she one of those Trumpers? Or, I left feeling in some sort of a way because I didn't know if it was racial related. I don't know. I don't know. So let's talk more about anger. And if anybody wants to chime in, you're more than welcome to chime in. See, it looks like I have a request here. You have to bear with me because I'm still trying to figure out how to actually use this device. This is the first time I went live. So talking more about anger, you need to know that prolonged, uncontrolled anger is associated with long-term health effects, including increased risk for hypertension, worsening pain management, increased anxiety, weakened immune system, and headaches. So prolonged anger is detrimental to you and those around you. The woman who I experienced, I don't know if she's angry all the time, or if I did something wrong, I don't know what I did wrong. I had to right away. Is she just an angry person? Is she angry all the time? Because if she's angry all the time, that's a problem. So if you're in a situation where you sense your anger is growing, I want to teach you the stop technique, which consists of calming yourself down, which means stop. For me, I like to stop. I like to take a deep breath. Take a break. Observe everything around you, which is a big thing to me. I always need to know what's happening in my presence, and then proceed thoughtfully. And as you proceed thoughtfully, ask yourself a few questions. What made you so upset? Is there something about this person or situation that really angered you? Is it about this person or this situation? Was it about me? Driving, minding my own business? And then you should ask yourself if you can think of an even-keeled way to respond that would be much more effective than lashing out to someone. At this moment, you can acknowledge that you don't know what issues or problems other people are dealing with. I don't know what was going on with that lady. I don't know if she was just having a bad day and just said, screw it, I'm going to walk out in front of this car. If she don't like it, too bad. But then she saw my face because she looked me dead in my eye. I don't know what it was about her that angered me. But again, I had to ask myself, was it because I'm black? That's the feeling I was left with. Wondering if it was because I'm black. It's important to embrace compassion, empathy, and grace. When you do that, you're more likely to have a positive impact than if you respond with anger. I always try not to respond to anger. If your anger, so there are times when your anger may be irrational or a sign of a bigger issue. Here are some ways to tell. If your anger arises without any specific trigger, if your anger is disproportionate to its trigger and in its frequency, intensity, and duration, if your anger does not subside after the offending person has apologized, not that I got an apology, I wasn't going to roll my window down and have a conversation with her, but I did think to myself, if this was the old Melanie and not the Dr. Melanie, I would have rolled my window down and said, was there something you wanted to say? But I don't react like that anymore. I try not to be a reactionary person. If your anger occurs in social contexts, that does not sanction anger and aggression. So just a few ways to blow off steam. When you feel yourself getting angry, listen to music, dance, draw, do household chores, organize or exercise to help you manage your anger. You can also monitor your news intake. I sit around a lot and I watch too many of the paid news networks, CNN and MSNBC, News Nation, and stuff like that can get you really angry. I was watching Chris Cuomo the other night, and he had a video showing these two black boys who were barely dressed running down the street, knocking on doors, and it was like 5 in the morning, and then they knocked on the door, and this kind white woman answered the door, and they said, "We're starving. Please help us. We're starving." And it was so horrible because they showed pictures where you could tell that the boys were just so malnourished. They had been tied up. You could see all the bruises on their body. It was horrible. But that nice woman let them in, called the police, and apparently the mother and the boyfriend are being investigated. What makes you so angry that you terrorize your children? Starve your children to death. So, again, a few ways to blow off steam. Listen to music, dance, draw, do some household chores, organize or exercise to help you manage your anger. You can also monitor your news intake, like I said. Practice gratitude. Celebrate the little things in life, like those little blessings that you have. And not least of all, seek help when you need it. If you got an anger problem, you need to go see somebody, talk to a good therapist. It can be alarming when someone else is directing their anger towards you. In this case, learn to respond to anger, not react. Be proactive, not reactive. And like I tell so many of my patients, not everything requires a response. Instead of using aggression or suppression, practice healthy ways to expose your anger. Be assertive, but respect communication. Step away, pause, maybe even distract yourself until you are ready to thoughtfully respond. Listening to someone explain their frustrations can help too. Sometimes people just want to be heard. Don't let yourself ruminate over past situations. Okay, so I ruminated a little bit about this situation with the woman crossing the street. But this is my outlook here, talking about it on my podcast and putting it out there. Once I get this off my chest through my podcast, I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not going to think about it again. Because it's easy to get into a situation of rehashing things over and over in our heads. Instead, redirect yourself when possible. Share how you are feeling with your support system. Because sharing your feelings with others can be validating, helping you to know that you are not alone. In the end, we all have to work toward radical acceptance. We don't have to like what happens, but we do need to accept our reality. And if these tips don't work, like I said, you can always seek help through a mental health professional who can help you process difficult emotions and learn helping coping strategies. Okay, let me see here. It looks like Casey wants to talk to me. Let me see. Let me see. What are your thoughts? Anybody? Anybody? No, I don't see anybody wanting to respond. So I am going to end this episode. I'm going to end this episode. I'm going to keep trying to figure out how to use the settings on this podcast because I thought I set up the studio so that I could have people from YouTube chime in. I'm using Spotify Live here, and I also invited people to come in, but I don't think I used the settings properly. So I'm going to try to figure all this out and hopefully get enough done so that I can invite more listeners into my podcast. I'm also figuring out how I'm going to do this tomorrow because I may do that grounding exercise, or I may choose to talk about Black trauma. So people are more than welcome to contact me to let me know if you have certain things you'd like me to discuss as well. Okay? Take care and have a great day. And also remember those things that I talked to you about so that you don't let your anger get the best of you. Okay? Take care. Black Power. Bye.